Hi, Idan.
Hello, Alexei.
Yeah. So tell us a few words about yourself and about the tool you want to show us.
Okay, so first of all, I'm super excited to be here with you. My name is Idan Asulin, and I'm one of the co-founders and the CTO of Memphis Dev. So that's me.
Yeah. So you want to show us a demo?
Of course, you want maybe to hear a few words before then about
Yeah.
Memphis. Okay, so just for all of those hearing us who didn't heard about us until now, Memphis is an open source cloud native message broker. We are currently focusing on data streaming use cases. So Memphis has all the features like we all know from tools like Kafka, but a lot more than that. Memphis cluster deployment over Kubernetes is built out of a single command using Helm chart. It gives the user a fully functional production grade Memphis environment ready to use. But besides that, Memphis brings with it a lot of cool features, which makes the developer lives much easier. Features like data level observability, troubleshooting tool, which makes the debug process way easier. Built-in DLQ, built-in schema management, inline processing, and connectors and different tools. For those who want to see the full roadmap, it is on our GitHub account, so you can get it from there. So I will show a quick demo showing how to install Memphis using Docker Compose, produce and consume messages from a Node.js application. I will also introduce the Memphis UI and how the unique observability and troubleshooting features offered by Memphis is the process of finding bugs. So I will just share my screen, okay?
Yeah. Sounds quite exciting.
So 1 second. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. So here we can see the Memphis website, memphis.dev. From here, we can grab the link, we just copy it and paste it inside my terminal. This command will download the Docker Compose file and will run it on my Docker engine, on my local Docker engine. When the installation process finished, I will get here inside the nodes all the needed information in order to get Memphis up and running. So here I can see that the UI can be found over localhost 9000. So I will open it inside my browser. Now we can see that we need to type in a user password. So this can be found also from the nodes. So the username is root, and the default password of the root is Memphis. And when I get here, I can see actually the dashboard, an easy start, how to start guide about how to create a station. In our terminology, station is like topic in Kafka, like queue in Rabbit. So station is the terminology of Memphis. So for our needs, I will create a factory. Factory is an entity which aggregate a different number of stations connected to each other. So I will create a factory named that talks. And now I am able to create a station. So I will do all the station creation and the data produce and consume from a Node.js application. So for that, I prepared an application before our meeting. Okay, so a simple Node.js application making use of the Memphis SDK, Memphis Dev over NPM. You can find it with the entire documentations and things like this. I will go over my code in order to explain. So I am connected with Memphis, with my local Memphis, with the root user and connection token, which is also Memphis. It appears inside the nodes. Creating a producer, which will produce data inside a station named DataTalks demo. give the producer a name, and will produce an hello world message. So let's start this application, making produce. And I'm getting this console log saying the application is done its work. And now I can see that this station has been created. And when I will go over inside the station overview page, I can see a full screen with a lot of details about my station and the entities connected to it. So I can see its name, I can see the producers connected to it, the messages inside, different metadata about the message, and consumers, which currently we don't have any consumers. So at this point, I will go into my consumer application, which also connecting to Memphis, creating a consumer. I will talk about these two lines in a minute. Consuming a message, listening to new messages coming in, and acknowledge them. So I will start this. And we can see it consume one message, the hello world message we just produced a few minutes ago. Inside the Memphis UI, we can see that the new consumers has been added, which consuming messages. We can see all its metadata. This is actually a group. So here we can see the group name, and inside it, we can see the consumer details, the IP of it, the users, the user connected with this consumer. But let's see a more cool feature that Memphis has, which will help developers find bugs more easily, which is one of our unique features. So let's see the following use case. A second. I will produce a new message. I will call it message causing a bug. Okay, and I will let it run. Okay, already have a producer with that name, so let's make it. Okay, so now I can see I have a message causing a bug. And right now I will go into the consumer code, and I will change one thing. This thing is that I will not acknowledge the message. In a real use case, not acknowledge a message, meaning that some exception, some error caused in the consumer logic, and finding such issues inside a ton of messages, it's a hard task for developers. So in Memphis, we give it a new solution. We call it DLS, dead letter station. And now I told you that we will talk about these two lines of code. So max message deliveries means that the station will send the message at most 2 times. And this is the first parameter. And the second parameters, max acknowledgement time in milliseconds, means that each time the consumer getting a message, the Memphis broker waits maximum 1,500 milliseconds for getting the acknowledgement. Otherwise, it will resend the message again until it reaches the max message deliveries. And in this scenario, we will see how Memphis mark this message as a problematic message. So let's see it happen. So I will run my consumer now. I can see that I'm getting the message for the first time, not acknowledging it. After 1.5 seconds, I'm getting it again, and then I'm stopping to getting it because I reached the two max message deliveries. And now, if I'll go over to the Memphis UI, I can see the message causing a bug. But now I can see that the failed CG's part as the consumer causing the problem. And if I want to dig it a lot more, so let me fold it. I can see that inside the dead letter right now, I'm seeing actually the two messages because this consumer consume also the first message, but let's deep dive into the message causing a bug. I can see the journey of this specific message. And if I hit this button, I can see the producer who produced this message, of course, the metadata of the message, and a list of all the CG, the consumer groups who experience some issue with it. And of course, a metadata about it. It helps developer to pinpoint the bug more in a more faster way. But Memphis, it's not stops here. We also gives the developer the ability to resend the message into the consumer again for cases the developer wants to debug without crashing the entire system. So if I will go over into my consumer and I will clear the console, 1 second. And I will hit the resend. We can see that the application will get in the message again and again and again until the developer will find out where is the problem, what inside the consumer's code caused this issue to happen. And when we are feeling that we are ready to redeploy our consumer code, I will just ignore this problematic message, and then it's all fine. It's not here anymore. Now I have only the hello world message, which also marked as problematic because I also not acknowledge it. So I ignore from this also, and now all is good. Okay, so actually that's it. Besides this, of course, we can see a lot of more observability metrics, things like logs of the systems, user management, preferences page, and things like this. But this is the main flow.
I'm just trying to understand, so what station actually is. Does it have more like queue semantics or topic semantics? Because as I understood, there could be, like, it's more like a queue because multiple consumers can consume, so whoever consumer first gets the message processes it, and other consumers do not get it. So it's more like they're pulling the messages from the queue, right, from the station.
Okay, so station in our terminology, it's like you said, it's like a queue, it's like a topic of Kafka, and consumers connected with it pull the messages. They are not push-based, they're pull-based. So this is the way stations work inside Memphis.
But so my confusion comes from, like, we have topics and we have queues, and queues are usually like there are multiple consumers pulling from this, and whoever pulls the message first gets to process it.
Okay.
While in topic, it's usually like multiple consumers and every one of them processes the same message.
Okay, so it's more like topic, which each CG, each consumer group, will get the entire stream of messages sitting inside the station. So it's more like the Kafka paradigm.
And inside the consumer group can be multiple consumers that each of them. Okay, so it's like both queue and a topic at the same time, sort of.
Yeah, all
I
of the
see.
consumers inside the same consumer group will get the entire, it will the messages will split among them.
Hmm.
Each consumer will get only one one of the messages inside the
Hmm.
station.
Okay,
Yes.
so if we want to scale this up, we just add another consumer in the consumer group, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I see, I see. And so you showed us an example with a Node.js. Do you have a Python client?
So we also have Python client and Go client currently, but we are consistency add more languages and encourage our community to add their own languages they want to see working with Memphis.
Hmm. Okay. And Memphis itself is written in Go, right? Or what was it?
Yes, the Memphis
Go.
engine is actually written in Go. Yeah.
Hmm. I think I saw it in logs somewhere when you started it. Okay. So what are your plans? What do you want to work on next?
Okay, so as I said before, our full roadmap is published inside our GitHub account, but in short, I'll just say that until the end of this year, Memphis will have its own schema management, built-in schema management, its own inline processing ability. We are going to make this station a more smarter entity, which the users will be able to add a logic inside it. And then when the producer will produce a message into a station, the station will be responsible to execute the logic inside it, and the consumer already will get the messages after the logic execution. So these two, we also are going to build a connector framework, which cause Memphis to be able to connect into other systems and getting the data inside it. And the last thing for this year is the Memphis hub. We're going to create a hub of functionalities, which will include the connectors and also the inline processing functions, things like this, like the NPM of Node.js, like pip of Python, things like this. So this is the near roadmap. But besides that, we are already talk with our community, talk with the users, and if any new feature we didn't mention comes up, we're changing it every time. But those features uh, are the nearest features we are going to work on.
Well, what's the best way to create a feature request? Is it like GitHub issues or I don't know, your community?
Yeah, so we have two main platforms that we are talking with our community. The first is, like you said, the GitHub. We have the GitHub repository named Memphis Broker, which inside it you can add issues, talk with us, things like this. And we also have a Discord server. So these are the main platforms.
Mhm. Okay. And, how many people are working on this?
So we are actually in Memphis a group of 11 people working on this full time, but we also have a growing number of active contributors coming from the community. So basically it.
Mhm. And if somebody wants to contribute, what's how should they go about this?
So if they will go over our GitHub account, they can see a full contribution guideline. So I think it covers all.
Hmm. So this you have this contributing.md file
Yeah,
that
but
just describes
always,
everything.
but we are always available by the Discord server, and we are answering any question arise.
Hmm. So if somebody wants to contribute, they should probably check first the file and then go to Discord and ask which issue to pick, right?
Yeah, usually we're tagging issues as good first issue for contributors who want to get in smooth and not start with something which is more
Mhm.
complex. So this is a good start. but of course, we are always available by the Discord, so
Mhm.
you can ask there.
So you mentioned it's written in Go. Do you need help with other languages? Like, do you need help, for example, with the Python client? I think you mentioned also it's possible, let's say, for example, right now you might not have consumer like interface in Java or JVM. Maybe if somebody wants to contribute this, then they also go to Discord and
So,
talk about this, right?
so of course, over the Discord is a good place uh, to mention it. The nearest SDK we are going to implement is Rust, by the way.
Mhm.
So if any contributor wants to start from there, this is the coming SDK we want to add into Memphis.
Why Rust?
Uh, this is actually a good question. Rust is actually in the last year uh, is is getting much more interest from the developers, and as a dev tool, we want to give the developers uh, the 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 tools they will need in order to build a better application. So if Rust is the star right now, we want to developers to be able to implement their application in Rust and using Memphis.
Interesting. Uh, I also heard that Rust has very good interoperability with Python. So eventually maybe you can replace the Python API with Rust API under the hood, which probably will make it faster, right?
Right?
Okay. Do you have any advice for anyone who is watching this?
Yes, I think that use message broker is the best advice I can let, especially for young startups and people who think that develop fast POC, maybe based on REST on or gRPC or things like this. It's maybe faster, but later when you want to scale your application and make it more production grade, and you want and you need and you will need to make this transformation from REST or gRPC to message broker, it's a nightmare. So start with the message broker. uh, this will be a good advice, I think.
Okay. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for doing a demo. Amazing product. Thanks for putting this to open source.
Thank you.